Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Director General of the Center for Fundamental Rights, Miklós Szánthó.
Hi there, CPAC. How are you today? Dear friends, dear fellow conservatives, ladies and gentlemen, and I will stop here because the Hungarian constitution and, of course, nature do acknowledge only these two sexes. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, it's really wonderful to be here in the great state of Texas, and I know that you say if a man is from Texas, he will tell you, and if not, why embarrass him by asking? But I will tell you, I'm a Hungarian, and you may have heard that this year's CPAC Hungary went spectacularly well. The left hated it and was frustrated about it, and it is a sign of success. But here it is my first time in Texas, and you should know that Texas holds quite a legendary place in the imagination of many Hungarians. Cowboys and Indians, the real barbecue, the South Fork Ranch and the Ewings, the undefeatable spirit of freedom that is special, even for America, a nation built on boundless love of liberty. And this CPAC Texas is beyond every dream. So there is so much in this name, CPAC. It represents the best aspirations of all men and women. To live free, to work hard, to make our own fortune, to worship God according to our own traditions, to protect our homeland, and to raise our family as we see fit. This is what CPAC stands for, isn't it? We are here today because we believe in the ancient values of the West that made our civilization the greatest, freest, most prosperous enterprise in the history of mankind. And those values are the very opposite of what socialism has to offer. Trust me on this. I'm a Hungarian. I know. We lived under bloody communist oppression for 4 decades, and everyone had to shut the hell up. That was the original cancel culture on steroids. So we know. And our long struggle for freedom, including the revolution of 1956, has made us resistant to ideological oppression. Dear fellow conservatives, I really know that being a Texan is a state of mind, but being a Hungarian is also a state of mind. We Hungarians have lived in Central Europe for over 1,000 years, and we choose Christianity and we choose the West. But in the 20th century, we had to suffer under both the Nazis and the socialists. And those were incompatible with the freedom-loving Hungarian national spirit, and we came out of the last century feeling a revulsion to all sorts of socialism, national and international as well. And imagine our horror when 30 years after the Iron Curtain was brought down, we had to realize that a new kind of Marxism was on the verge of subduing Western civilization and plotting an assault on our liberty once again. In Hungary, we say that a communist never disappears, he just changes disguises. And that's what we objectively see nowadays. A new Marxism has infiltrated all walks of our lives. As a master thief, it wears many cloaks. Depending on what seems most effective, it appears as BLM, the cult of Vogue, critical race theory, or gender ideology. And what was once known as progressive is better called by its true name, Marxism. Regardless of which disguise it presents itself in, the aim is always to take away our freedom to love our country, to love our flag, to be proud of our history, and to worship God. All in the name of this muddled concept of egalitarianism that they call equity and political correctness. Dear friends, this postmodern variety of socialism undermines the very foundations of Western civilization. They seek to deconstruct the family, our past, demolish our national pride, to subvert the great heroes of our states, and to cut us off from our cultural roots. They destroy our national morale, and the West, where we are obliged to feel shame over our history and path to greatness, is left strategically weakened and essentially defenseless in the face of foreign threats. So in that sense, liberals also strike a blow at our security. And of course, these liberals dreamed of an end of history. They promised us that there will be no more war, no more conflict. Kumbaya. How did that work out, may I ask? I live right next to the bloodiest war since the Second World War, and there is no end in sight. As a terrible war of aggression is waged against the Ukraine, we in the West are experiencing the worst economic, financial, and energy supply crisis perhaps in living memory. And the left's attacks on our history and our pride have left us confused and unprepared to deal with the current crisis. Fashionable claims about the irrelevance of borders and of nation-states have been exposed as shallow myth, although President Donald Trump put it that a nation is not a nation without borders. And the West's self-inflicted condition of historical amnesia has encouraged it to disregard the salience of geopolitical realities. So in short, the new left's cultural domination has left us in a confused and weakened state, one they created quite deliberately. Ladies and gentlemen, the only way out of this profound, multidimensional catastrophe is peace. But for it to be again genuine peace, we need conservative victories at home. Because only the right can lift us up from our crippled state. We need strong conservative movements in all our Western nations. The world is changing, and our countries need to meet new challenges and win new contests. This changed world will either be dominated by a new, confused Marxism, and to tell the truth, it doesn't much matter if it comes from the East or the West, or it will be led by us conservatives. Only the right can offer our nation's strengths, dignity, common sense, and realism. That is why it is crucial for us to work together internationally to make the liberals' nightmare true, the international cooperation of conservative national forces. And this is where CPAC and the fantastic job by Matt, Dan, and the ACU team have done matters so much. It has allowed us to share with you the Hungarian conservative success story, and this is how Prime Minister Viktor Orban could offer you his recipe for success at CPAC Hungary and here in Dallas a few days earlier. Please keep in mind what he told you. We should never play by the liberals' rules. So in my country, in Hungary, the right has built a work-based society with low taxes, strong support for families, firm defense of our national borders, a dignified foreign policy based on national interest and pragmatism. All of this is possible in every Western nation, but for that to happen, we need to work together to end socialism here, to end socialism in Europe, and to end socialism everywhere. Please do not forget what President Reagan advised us. We win, they lose. So do not mess with Texans, do not mess with Texas, do not mess with Hungary, for the family, for the God, for our homelands. God bless America, God bless Hungary, God bless all of you.